Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hi. All right, so we are going to start just now. I'm just waiting for our good friends to set us up with these guys there, and then we are going to start. Yes. There's a very nice game on TV right now, very exciting. However, we're going to do some exciting things as well. Some more exciting things that are going to make us some money. At home, if you're there, welcome. If you're online, welcome. Thanks for coming. I just gotta do something quickly because I can see we are suffering with the internet. All right, I think that's better. It's a trade secret. I can tell you that. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to know the platform. Yes. So, uh, stop fighting. Stop fighting. This is all right, guys. Like I said, I'm just waiting for the screens to be set up. Oh, they're set up already. So we're going to start now. Ooh, Jesus. I'm about to break something. All right. I think, yes. Awesome. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's, you guys will bear with us. Hmm? So, unfortunately, if you are at home, you will only be able to see the shared screen, unfortunately. Uh, because of a number of reasons, including, you know, including copyright things and whatnot. So if you were here in person, you are going to be able to actually look at what we're going to be looking at. But if you're at home, you might hear what we're hearing, but you will only see the shared screen. So let me wait for everybody to come back. And then when they come back, we are going to start. I'm going to play some music and then it's on. Hi to everybody once again. Uh, if if you want, you can share the link that I put up on Facebook so that more people can join in the conversation. Actually, I don't even need to show my face. Yes, yes, that's better. All right, so where am I? So, guys, take your, again, I'm going to say this so that the people at home can hear me. Take your drink orders, guys, so that people at home can feel bad and they can be jealous of you. Yes, one drink. Yes. Hey, this guy. That's the first and last time. Over. It's over for you, sir. Mm, trying to I give you a finger, you take my arm. It's over. Finished. Mm. All right, so becoming business ready. Where is this other gentle person so that we can get right to it? It's a very short presentation, and it's interesting. So you guys will tell me afterwards whether this works or if it doesn't. I see nobody. Do you guys have your notebooks? This one is saying there's one person here who is saying his brain is a notebook. We'll see how much he's able to retain. Uh, what thing? And what? Okay, if you say so. If you say so. I need a towel. I'm sweating. right, so let's begin. All right. This thing is facing. I want it to face you guys, but me also. That's better. You're supposed to be. We're supposed to be having a conversation here. Yeah. What I'm gonna do? I think. Hey. Since there's only one table, you guys can put that on the table. And anytime you feel like I'm going too fast or you want to pause what's going to come, just let me know. All right, cool. So, very simple. As you can see there, we are creative industries, not an industry, as people say. And just give me 1 second, guys. And we're basically here to learn how we can set ourselves up to be better. All right, to be better in terms of business. All right, because most of us do this creative thing either as a passion or as a hobby, but at some point you have to set yourself up as a business, and to do that you need money, but there's no money. All right, so it's like a revolving door. You know, it's like, okay, I need money, I don't have money, but I need money, but I don't have money, right? To need the money, you need the money. Hey, like I said, to need the money, you need the money. So it's a revolving door, but there are ways in which you can actually generate something out of nothing creatively, and it's a tried and tested methodology. It works. Now I use it every day. Everything you see in front of you was generated from nothing. Okay, and it's still generating more. All right, and this is why I could have been here for you guys who are at home. I could have been here by myself. I still would have done it. Yes, I would have done it still, all alone, facing chairs. It's very necessary. Okay. And of course, our aim is to empower you guys. That's why we're here. We're gonna empower ourselves. And this is not just me giving a presentation, guys. I would like for you guys to participate as well. We're gonna talk to each other. That's why I'm not standing. That's why I'm sitting. And as much as I've got the microphone, I'm also part of the crowd. And then we want to understand the business landscape, build our brand, learn how to, the basics of brand building, financial planning for creatives, marketing and promotion, setting goals and taking action, empowerment and community building, which is very important, and then of course encouraging lifelong learning. Okay, the last two, we're just gonna have a conversation. You guys are gonna ask some questions, and I'll try as my best to answer. And that's just a little bit about myself. Don't worry about it. I've been involved in the creative arts for like 20 some years, either as part of it or behind it. I'm also all about sustainability, and a big part of sustainability is learning and passing on information. And of course, education is also something that I do, which is why I'm standing in front of you today. Now, our program is straightforward. We're going to start with understanding the creative business landscape, and then we'll go into building our personal brand. And then we're going to have a short intermission where we'll have short conversations offline. The guys at home will only hear some music, and we're going to talk. That's where the proper things will happen, the productive things will happen. And then we're going to go into financial planning, and then we're going to have a Q&A again offline. The people at home will just hear music. But at home, if you have a question, just type it out in the comments, and then we'll see when to answer them. And then, of course, after the Q&A, we're going to go into setting goals and taking action. And then just before we conclude, we're going to go into community building, which is very, very interesting and awesome. You're going to learn basically how to go into the community and make a difference, and how that is so important in the corporate world. And then lastly, we're going to have another Q&A, and we're going to close. Now, on that last point, if you're at home, you probably will not hear that part. But yeah, that's what you get for being at home. All right, so here's the format, guys. It's very straightforward. The way this thing is going to be formulated is we are going to watch a series of videos. Okay? You got me? We're going to watch a series of videos on each of those topics. And then after the video, what's happening? After the video, we're going to have we're going to watch the next video. After the next video, the next one, and then we're going to talk. And then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay? If you're home, we'll see what to do with you. We'll figure it out. If I'm nice enough, you'll watch the video with us. So let's get right into it. And then after that, we will chat.
What is a creative economy?
What is a creative economy?
Creative economy?
Creative economy, what would I think of?
A creative economy is,
With a creative economy,
I don't know, nothing really jumps to mind when I hear creative economy. Well, I don't know if I've ever heard that term before.
I guess that means an economy where entrepreneurs thrive. There's a lot of ideas, a lot of opportunities, a lot of inventions. I've never really heard of that term before.
I would say a creative economy is one that considers like all of the stakeholders from, the top down or the bottom up maybe.
Putting their heads together and having unity. Everybody come together as one.
I guess locally produced products, local artisans, things of that sort.
It would be when entrepreneurs can establish their own businesses and creative ideas, new companies, new products, items like that.
It's an opportunity to change the world, make it a better place. It makes the stagnant economies seem not so horrible.
Well, my career's in the arts, so I believe in it wholeheartedly. I think it's important for any community and it's what keeps us thriving.
For me, that's something that supports creatives.
One that puts the pricing model back in the consumer's hands.
A creative economy, I think, thrives on small business ownership, creative entrepreneurs.
What do you think creative economy means, young man?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Creative economy is a place where new things are being generated by combining old things. So whether that's old companies buying products from new companies or artists from across the spectrum collaborating, that to me is what makes an economy creative.
Something where really from like the top down, leadership is supporting people in creative fields, whatever that means to them.
People putting all their ideals in to create a specific plan and to bring the economy up.
I guess I would think of stimulating the economy through ways that you wouldn't typically think of.
When I hear a creative economy, I think of people using their natural born gifts and using that to give back to the community.
So you are the people who were there, okay? And I just want to find out from you. There's a microphone in front of you. Before we move on, just switch on the mic. The mic is right in front of you. The people. Or you want to talk to me and then I talk to the people. The question is the same question that was posed. I got to know you. Yeah, it's at the bottom. Yo. Okay. You see, that's why you need a notebook. All right, so you've got the microphone.
Yes,
sir.
You don't need to introduce yourself, okay?
I won't.
I won't. Okay. So tell us, what do you think the creative or the creative economy is, or a creative economy is?
So I think about it two ways. And the one part, it's how we can innovatively stimulate the economy as a general public. That's one. And on the other hand, it could be an economy led by the creatives, and creatives being able to, or rather having an industry where creatives are able to thrive and grow successfully.
Okay. Next person. No, you're next. Let's hear it.
Hello.
Hi.
Honestly, I do not know.
Okay.
But I'm going to say, right? I think it's like a something that works where creativity and creatives are able to make money and circulate it properly.
Okay.
This doesn't make sense, but that's what is in my head right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's be a bit sustainable. Sit over there. Just so that you don't stretch and break your back. All right,
Okay.
cool. Yeah, go ahead.
So, after watching the video
Yeah.
and seeing those different perspectives, I'm wondering if I should rethink creative economy, because a few people said things that made me see different perspectives I never thought of.
But what did you think before you saw the video?
When I thought creative economy, speaking from being a creative and being part of the creative community, and then breaking down the two terms creative and economy, I'm thinking a sustainable ecosystem that generates income and also contributes to the revenue, and as part of, giving back to the economy.
Okay.
If I may
So
say.
basically, you create income for yourself and you contribute to the GDP.
Yes, I
of-
wanted to
of-
say the
of
GDP
the country.
and the growth of the country.
That's right.
So
That's
it's
right.
part of diversifying money within the economy of a country.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're all pretty much correct. But do you think it's possible that the creative arts can actually be at the center of an economy? Before we
100%.
continue, motivate your answer. 2 lines. Just very short. Like you're saying, yes, the creative space or the creative arts can be at the center of the economy. Okay, so let's hear from the gentleman in the back quickly.
If you look at it at the way the world is moving and the way the world works,
Yeah.
One, Hollywood is a very big industry,
Mm-hmm.
and it is at the forefront, or amongst the things that are at the forefront of entrepreneurship or business development or the economy in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they are. Not do they have the potential to be, but they are at the forefront. The
Okay.
movies, the music, all that.
Okay. All right. No, cool. But I haven't heard. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to pull an example that is, I think, more easier to comprehend and understand. So let's take shooting a music video.
Mm-hmm.
People just see the artist and the music, but let's break it down into the different types of jobs that are involved in putting
Yes.
together that music video.
Mm.
So we can go from costume designer, which is the designer in themselves,
Yeah.
and then the makeup artist, and then we have the stylists themselves,
Yeah.
and then we have the set designers, and the set design, you need furniture for that. So we
Yes.
have furniture designers,
Like-
and then we have the management of the artist, of the show itself, stage management, the camera, the videographer.
Okay. No,
So,
you got it. Now,
yeah.
can I give you homework?
Mhm.
You know something called end credits during a movie? Do you guys ever read them?
The what?
And you know those things can go for like 10 minutes. Like, you should read that, right? You should read that from like when, and guys at home, especially look at these big, epic, blockbuster movies, right? And read the end credits. The end credits, yes, the end credits. The movie end credits. What you'll find is it's actually gold, because every location has its own unit, from the director all the way down to the driver. Hey, it's a whole thing, all right? And it involves city councils as well. It involves businesses. It involves so many different aspects. Okay, and movies are one place where you really appreciate how creativity can actually be at the center of the economy, because of any economy. Because what happens is, when a movie comes out, right, it's promoted, and then it goes to cinema, and then everybody goes to watch it, and then people will tell you, oh, it opened at 500 million or at the box office, and then it grossed over 1 billion, 20 billion, 50 billion, 36 billion. All of that, like you rightly pointed out, contributes to the GDP of the country. And that's why you'll find Hollywood is one of the key areas of the US economy. If you find Hollywood, for example, in India, and you'll find Nollywood in Nigeria. And South Africa also has a budding, film production scene that actually adds to the development of the nation. Okay? So, think big, all right? Don't just think, and that's why we're thinking creatively. Let's not just think music, okay? Let's not just think poetry. let's open our minds up, all right, and really think outside the box. Okay, cool. We're gonna go on to. That's my perspective, okay? I might be wrong, and this is why I wanted to just go into the second definition as well, just so we can appreciate basically what it is.
We discuss creative economy. What is creative economy? It is an economy that depends on the creative industries to generate an income. So let's list a few specific examples. Advertising, arts and crafts, design, fashion, film, and video. Photography, music, performing arts, publishing, computer games, television, radio. Sports, outdoor activities, hobbies, street performances, opera, theatre. The list goes on. One could say that creative industries revolve around arts and culture. However, there is much more to a creative economy than just arts and culture, because the creative sector creates opportunities for other industries too. For example, an interdependence is created between theatre, transport to the venue, souvenir shops, cafes, and tour guides. And so the creative industries generate jobs, wealth, and cultural engagement. The creative industries have become particularly important to the well-being of countries. Business, technology, and industry in general all benefit from the creative industries. This is because at the heart of the creative economy are art industries, cultural activities, technology requirements, and business opportunities. To support continued growth of creative industries, governments need to contribute to the financing of activities as well as the financing of professionals in the creative and cultural sectors. Governments can also do their part through the offering of policy guidance, entrepreneurial training, and marketing programs. In addition, information about the business models and opportunities for entrepreneurs entering the creative industry will further boost creative economies. Finally, the sharing of best practices as well as financing startup companies in the creative sector can greatly aid creative economies and thereby increase the financial well-being of communities.
Okay, so did that sort of kind of answer our question, or did it provide some input? Yes, no, maybe? It's adding to what we were saying. Okay. Facts. I completely agree. Let's see if we have another example. Okay. Now let's look at the potential of the of the creative economy and what it can put and what it can do for us, ne? And then from there we'll move on to the next thing. And once again, we're at Temple Lounge. It's a really dope place in Block 9. If you want to come, you can come through. It's very quiet right now, which is good. That's what we want. And now we're just going to see
creativity through music, performing arts, films, books, visual arts and design drives our ideas and emotions, often yielding an unstoppable yearning to connect, to question, and to be understood. But culture and creativity are a lot more than an expression of our identity. They are livelihoods, careers, and economic opportunities for people around the world. Worldwide, the creative economy employs over 30 million people, generating some $2.25 billion US. Unlike industries that depend on finite materials like coal, timber, oil, creativity is an infinite renewable resource. That's why the creative economy holds the key to achieving a sustainable future where decent jobs are available, inequality is reduced, and gender equality is a reality. Employing more young people than any other sector, the creative industries are crucial to include in cultural policies and for the opportunities of future generations. Populations that are often marginalized by traditional job markets, including women, indigenous peoples, and migrants, find their place in this dynamic sector. UNESCO's 2005 Convention on the Protection and Promotion of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions aims to unlock culture's potential contributions to sustainable development. But we must work together and scale up our efforts. Equitable digital access and transformation, a balanced flow of cultural goods between developed and developing countries, artistic freedom and partnership with civil society are key ingredients to a thriving culture sector that the Convention supports. More than 150 countries have signed this international agreement, making a clear commitment to comprehensively supporting the local creative economy through policies, measures, training opportunities, international cooperation, data collection, and more. The creative economy belongs to us all. Together, let's unleash its power.
All right. So, what does that video tell you?
There's a particular section that caught my attention more than the most, or any other part of the thing. It's where the lady speaks about how creativity is a renewable resource, a never-ending renewable resource, right? And then it took me back all the way to like primary school, when we were being taught all these non-renewable and renewable resources. And it's sticking out to me as in, why were we never taught that? And why isn't creativity part of like school curriculum?
But it is.
As much as it's it would be like a math class or a science class or a design and technology
but
class.
it is.
In primary school, not
It
so
is.
much.
It is.
In
though.
primary school.
Yes.
Maybe at your school, yeah. If you're speaking about your school, yeah. But if you look at all the other schools,
Is it that it's not part of it, or is it that most parents don't take much, effort to push their kids in that direction, or students as they grow, they tend to focus on more academic endeavors than the creative side of things?
I like that we're having this conversation. One, students choose the academic side because they are pushed there, no more than they want to do it. Using myself as an example, I could have easily been pushed to do whatever thing that my mother wanted me to do, but because I am stubborn, I knew creativity is what I wanted to do, and being a creative is what I wanted to do. But not every creative or not every person gets that chance to say, I want to be a creative, and that's what I will do. People then do law because somebody told them you can make money, or you are told there's no money in the arts. True, there's no money in the arts, but when you find the money in the arts, there is money in the arts.
Okay, let's move on. Next person who has the microphone right now. What did you find interesting in the video?
Okay. I think what I found interesting were the statistics, like the real numbers.
Yes.
The creative, what it contributed on Arabica 2.25 billion.
Yeah, US dollars.
And I was like, oh shit.
Well, how much is that? Well, okay.
Yeah.
The reaction is warranted. Although we are PG, but the reaction is warranted. It's a very natural reaction.
Yeah.
I concur.
I was like, that's a lot.
How much is that in Pula, by the way?
A lot.
It's
a lot.
It's almost 30 billion Pula.
Are you serious?
Yes, because you have to multiply by like 12.5, 13 somewhere.
Yikes.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, because you spoke about the numbers.
Yeah.
Do you think you are part of that $2.25 billion?
I think I am, or
Remember, my question is loaded.
Okay.
I'm not
Oh my
saying,
God.
do you want to be part of the earning of that 2.25 billion? I'm asking, do you think creatively you are contributing to that 2.25 billion? Is your output contributing to that 2.25 billion? That's my question. Think about it.
I'm gonna think about
it. Next person.
What I found interesting about this video was, like she mentioned, the statistics, which brought me to think about having, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, a formalized structure that gives us a chance to plot and to also plan. She mentioned policies also. So the Dala in general, how important structure is, especially when she mentioned data collection and having the statistics and the numbers. Because when you think as a creative, I would say this, when you think creativity, it's more about passion and the output of your work. I think I would think less about how much more it goes into it to shift from being a creative and then being a creative entrepreneur. So I think locally, what we are missing, maybe, I might be wrong, is the structure and formalize things, procedures, standard procedures and everything, because creativity, for lack of a better term, is a bit volatile, if you may say, because it's chaos. We think, oh, we are free thinking, we are all of that, but when you put economy and business into it, it's a whole different conversation now, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I got from that video.
No, I agree with you. Creatively, we are chaos. We're supposed to be chaos. That's what we do. But if you look at your different approaches, already you picked on different things. Okay? No two people said nah, it was this, and the other person said the same thing. It was very different. And that's how you actually all contribute together into an output. Because if you got into an office tomorrow and I said, I want you to, you might end up looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the output in terms of contribution to the overall picture. Make sure the input is valuable. So how do we teach people so that they have enough to create?
Yeah.
Right? And that video, and it's the shortest, that UNESCO video. It's the shortest video, but every single thing that was touched on can be literally stretched, right? Broken up, studied, researched, and really have it give us information on what we need to do locally to actually start using order to generate revenue out of chaos. Okay?
I like that.
Yeah, because that's what we need to do. You cannot turn chaos into order. Okay, but what you can do, you can use, the information that is there, that formal information. You can use it as a funnel. Where on one side you have the chaos, it goes through that funnel, and it comes out in an orderly fashion.
Yeah.
And what we're lacking right now is that funnel. And if you don't have that funnel, you have nothing, honestly speaking. You know, if you look at the U.S. creative industry, the chaos is crazy. The chaos basically is if you know the street performers, right? The street performers, all the open mics, all the guys who sing to themselves in the shower, all of that is the chaos, right? And then through the funnel, you get a Beyonce, right? You get an MCU, you get a George Lucas and Marvel, and Star Wars, right? So all of that happens because of that funnel. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to stop there. First, go ahead.
I wanted to add.
Yes.
Now that you're mentioning funnel, because I was thinking when we were having that conversation about academics versus creativity, it got me thinking about the different generations we come from.
Yeah.
Parents want security and stability.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, the creative environment is present at schools. Just that it doesn't have, like we're saying, a standardized metric of measurement. You know how you could say.
And it shouldn't have.
Yeah. And maybe that is why parents don't get it. And the fact that there isn't an industry that receives creatives after school.
Yeah.
An industry
So-
that promises
So
security.
here's the thing. The thing is, you're very right, eh?
Yes.
But again, that happens because the funnel is missing.
Yeah, I was adding actually to what you
because on one side, right, parents look at the output,
Yes.
and on the output, you only see those who've achieved, right? And then they'll look at the input from the output side and say, "There's chaos over there. Nothing good comes out of that." Okay, so you can't really blame them because they're on this side and they're looking across. There's no bridge right now, right? So they're just looking across and they're like, it's just crazy over there. And you are over there, right? As a aspiring creative, you're on that side and they're on this side. They're like, nah, that's not working. You gotta be on this side, okay? But also, that bridge, you cannot have expectations about that bridge. You build that bridge for yourself.
I definitely agree. I wasn't
Yes.
that. Let me. Yes.
Paint the picture.
I was saying that the conversation now needs to start about education, and not education in the aspect of, but education, like you're saying, showing the parents, because we can't blame them. It's different generations.
But they'll never see it. You can try as. The problem is the way we are set, the way the family is set up, right? And the way it works is because the parents are on one side, they'll always see it that way, and you're on the other side, and you always see it this way. That's what we call a dynamic. what needs to happen, right, with the creation of that funnel, okay, is parents just need to see that, okay, this person is a creative, they've got a lawyer, right? They've got an agent, they've got an accountant, they've got a photographer. So what happens is they see that, okay, as an individual, they are chaos, but they've got that support system around them, a support system made up of professionals that will help generate something orderly out of the chaos.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if we have a well-established economy that gives outcome and outputs from the creatives, I think everybody will shift over to the side.
Yeah.
Because honestly, families are money-oriented. I think that's all parents want. They want you to make money.
Not family. They want you to be stable.
Yes, they just want you to be stable.
want you
So
to be
like
stable.
what you're saying, that funnel and that bridge that takes us to the other side and
Yes.
shows us that there is a life on the other side and not just, there's economic benefit through it.
All right. No, cool. The man has been itching. Let's go.
So this structure conversation, I've been having it on my social media platforms since 2019. Stevie G DJ is the platforms. You can check me out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm always having these conversations, and for the first time in so long, I've gotten to a point where I feel like we're getting the structures setting up. You can see quantitative and qualitative build-ups. You can see from how guys are going on tour with a whole management team, and they have photographers with them.
In Botswana?
Yeah, people are doing tours in the country.
Give me an example. Who's going on tour with the management
FME
team?
DJs have a whole system.
Oh, they're local?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they were local.
You
That's
did
good.
not know FME DJs were local.
I didn't know they were local, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, you see, that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing.
Yes.
So you have FME DJs as an example to say there's a group of people or a group of entertainers that have a solid team. When these guys are performing today, tomorrow you see evidence, you see either a video or something. Then you have stuff like the NACB coming up, and they are setting these different guidelines for different creatives and different industries in the creative industry. So the structures are being built, the structures are developing. I mean, we have Know the Ledge having these things now.
I don't pay taxes.
But still, you are giving us the platform, you are giving us the knowledge. So with bit by bit, we're getting there. The structures didn't exist 3 years ago, I'll tell you that. But now you can tell. There's guys who have a somewhat system that works. We have people who are now branching off to SA, and they have publishers in SA, or they have a team in SA. You have Botswana artists being booked in the US. It can only be with the structures. Otherwise, if the structures did not exist at all, it wouldn't be happening like the way it is now.
Yeah. No, true. But remember this, guys. The idea of that section that we just went through is for us to look beyond just ourselves. I'll be honest with you, most times, all these things that happen benefit the party themselves, right? Me getting a booking in South Africa benefits me. How will that benefit the country in general, right? No. If you get a booking in South Africa, you're contributing to the South African GDP, not your own. Because the people who are going to go to the show, remember, your fee is yours, all right? You earned that fee. Not here.
Here's what I'm thinking, man. When we book SA artists, what's that like?
Hey, the problem with booking SA artists is because we are always handicapped, we always end up in the red. Always. Because we're handicapped. Yeah, because we're trying to use that to generate funds for ourselves. You see, when they are booked here, they benefit. All right? Because that's right.
That's what I'm saying. So when I go there as a boss artist and then I come here, it's the same, no?
Are we still not handicapped? Exactly. That's the problem. The biggest in general, yes. That's the problem. The problem is when we are booked, We're trying to make money for ourselves because we know we can't make money locally. When they are booked, they're adding on to what they already have because they know that they're famous beyond their borders. You see the difference? Yeah. So the only way to level the playing field is for us to build our own with an idea of the bigger picture. All right? Because if you're booked in the US, you are booked because you are the one thing that they need to enhance just a little bit what they already have. If you book a US artist, you're like, this is the biggest thing I need, to get a little something out of my event or whatnot. So we need to start having that shift, okay? And this is something we should think about. Even when we leave, just think about it and try to find ways of thinking beyond just what you're doing. Try and think about how it affects the general picture.
Yeah, I think you answered it because my next question was, okay, it's a good example, but it seems like the structure is more tailor-made or how do I say this?
Guys,
Sectional
there's food, by the way. It's going to get cold.
Oh. It's a bit more individualistic.
Yeah.
Thinking in
Yeah.
the broader term
That's right.
of like you were saying. And I was thinking to myself now, and I won't lie, the NACB thing that you mentioned, it got me thinking now, I don't know about it. And I guess he is a bit more proactive in reaching for the information, which now my question becomes, why is it so hard for such information, especially that is about creators? It's so hard to be disseminated for us to be able to. It's easier for me to hear about something else involving the country, right? I like things that involve creatives.
Yeah.
That's
think,
what I
think about it and think
So,
about
yeah.
harmony. Back. Wait. Give me a second. Okay, no, we're good. All right, so let's jump on to the next thing. That is personal branding. And again, we watch, and then we discuss, okay? All right.
You'll know what it is for, the quality of the product, and probably who it's aimed at. Now, if I showed you these faces, you'd probably have a similar experience. That, in its very purest form, is what a personal brand is. But really, it goes so much deeper, and it's an incredibly powerful way to market. So let's dive in to learn more. The quality of the product, and probably who it's aimed at. Now, if I showed you these faces, you'd probably have a similar experience. That, in its very purest form, is what a personal brand is. But really, it goes so much deeper, and it's an incredibly powerful way to market. So let's dive in to learn more. Have you ever Googled your name? Well, of course you have. Did what pop up represent what you want to be known for? Or did an old man pop up like it did when I gave it a shot? A personal brand is your unique mixture of skills, experience, personality, and know-how. These features promote you and tell your brand story, reflecting your conduct, behavior, spoken and unspoken words and attitudes. It's basically your professional image, how you look in real life combined with how the media portray you and the impression that people gain from the information they find about you online. These can develop organically and potentially very, very quickly, or you can work on your brand to portray to the world the person you want to be. But why would you want to become a personal brand? Well, a personal brand allows you to highlight your strengths and passions. It helps people to feel like they know you better, which means they trust you more, even if they've never met you. Politicians rely on this when it comes to elections. People vote for the people they feel they know and trust. Some benefits you'll find from building a personal brand is people will buy from you without you needing to sell overtly. They'll purchase what you provide, recommend you more to their friends, and help you build more of an audience. So, why is personal branding so important? Building a strong personal brand is the key to being considered influential. It helps you stand out from the pack, and it's what makes you memorable. Think back to the examples I showed you at the start of the video. If I showed you these faces, you'd probably have a similar experience. You probably knew who Richard Branson was and probably had an opinion of him that made him stand out when we showed you the image of him. The reason this is more important than ever is the distrust built by millennials to advertising. 84% of them don't trust adverts or the brands that create them, yet they're prepared to believe people they know, even business people behind brands they don't like. This has caused a major reshuffle in the way businesses market themselves and why influencer marketing has become so successful over recent years. Richard Branson mentions in his book Losing My Virginity that he noticed people were more interested in him than they were Virgin, which is why he attempted so many stunts to remain in the public eye. What was good for him was good for the company. Think of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, even Donald Trump. Business has merged with celebrity culture. Here's some things to consider for building your own personal brand. To start off, you need to self-reflect. It's very hard to describe yourself. It's easier to explain how you want to be and go from there. If your main goal is to improve your business using your personal brand, you need to get a solid grip of who your target audience is. They need to match. There's no point building an audience of men in their 20s if your company sells makeup brushes. Really, you want to build a reputation as someone who cares about the types of people that are potential or existing customers. The key is to come across as human, and as the name might suggest, personal. This allows you to de-emphasize selling to appear more authentic. The best way to build a personal brand is on social media nowadays. You need to be where your target market spends their time and create open accounts for them to follow and engage with. So that's the personal side. What about the brand side? Well, you need to decide on a consistent color scheme, fonts, icons, and graphics, and you should use these everywhere. So they should appear on your website, social account, business cards, and anything printed. Carry business cards with you everywhere. Yep, it's old school, but they still work. If you're representing a business, they should match the colors and fonts of that too. You should also consider what you wear in public situations. Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg went for the same outfit every time they're in public. It eliminated a choice and saved on ironing. It's a bit grubby though. So, if you're a CEO of a bank, don't turn up in shorts and a tank top. The final thing to think about is your actions. They need to match your brand. Like pretty much every area of marketing, consistency is key here. If you look the part and turn up in the right places, you need to act the part too. People's expectations of a politician are different from, say, a rock star. If a politician were found taking drugs, there'd be an uproar and trust would be lost. Yeah, if a rock star got busted, nobody would batter much of an eyelid. Okay, so you might not be under the same spotlight, but you still need to consider this and act like the person you promote yourself to be, which will be a lot easier if that's actually who you are. Be authentic, don't try to be a saint if you're not, it'll all come out in the wash. It's easy to spot a fake. And if you want to check out your own personal brand's health score, then have a look at the link in the description to use our tool. Just type in your Instagram account and await the glorious data.
Okay. I think that is pretty self-explanatory, and I think maybe we should have a quick back and forth about this one. Now, real quick, there's a difference between, or as you start thinking about who you are and what you are, because Who you are is you, the person. What you are is the brand. Okay? There's a difference, but as you build an audience, the two start becoming one. Okay? And it's not even that you will decide when the two become one. What happens is feel like they're closer to you, as they feel like they know what's best for you because they're the consumers of your products, as they feel entitled to who and what you are, right? They will decide. And in 2023, there's this thing called cancellation. You know, cancellation doesn't happen to who. It happens to what? Because you as a person are not canceled. It is what you represent that is canceled. And unfortunately, because what is revenue, right? Your revenue is ultimately canceled. And then the who that remains with nothing. Okay? So that is the biggest issue with branding. And sometimes, personally, I'm very wary of branding because of that. Because I understand that I want to be who I am everywhere I go, right? Because I know if people see who I am, it's easier for me to navigate. But if I am who at home and I am what when I'm out, if I forget to become what anyway in the process, then it's like, oh, whoa, wow, really? This is you? we know you were like that. You know, we know you were like that. And that's when, you know, wires get crossed. So I don't know if there are any questions or comments on on the what is personal branding side of things before we move on. So, homework for you is just reflect on the who and the what. All right? Yeah. I think the mic is off, so switch it on.
Since you said that, the brand, right? According to what he said, and also according to everything else that I've learned over the past couple of years with regards to personal branding and branding as an entertainer, the be your authentic self. That part, doesn't it then help you to navigate and take away the who versus the what if you are being your authentic self?
Remember, you don't decide that part, especially if you start with the what.
Mhm.
A lot of people, when they start into a creative endeavor,
Mhm.
their goal is to become a brand
Mhm.
because they're told you have to view yourself as such.
Mhm.
Okay? And then your fans, your supporters, your consumers see you at that, as that. The problem then is when you decide to take off that jacket and show your real self, are they going to accept you?
Okay.
That's the biggest problem. And most people don't want to find out because sometimes that revenue is
Oh yeah, kind of thinking the money, né?
yeah, that revenue is a problem. So you're like, what if it doesn't work out? Then what?
Okay. Okay.
Remember rest her soul, is it Sinead O'Connor?
Who's this?
Sinead O'Connor or Signhead or yeah. If you read her story, she's someone who shed the what and she was rejected. Remember Lauryn Hill? Lauryn Hill shed the what and was rejected. And then you have someone like Kanye West who shed real early. He shed the what early.
Which is where I was going to be.
Yeah, and he was rejected initially, and then he was accepted, and eventually became uncancelable.
Okay. Now, with what you said, I was having two thoughts in my mind. Now I think I have three. One, are we then saying and agreeing that when you start your creative endeavors, and this is to the next generation, when you start your creative endeavors, it's important to start with the who? That's the one question.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then the other one, when we're talking about the shedding of self, and when you're shedding of the what and being the who, as a person, is it not okay for you to say, I don't mind losing these fans if it means gaining new fans who will then be with me for me?
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's start with those two.
Okay, so again, it's all about your self actualization, right? How comfortable you are and what your goal is. You know, some people are 100% okay with being what for the entirety of their lives. They're like, this is me. I'm on this path until I die. Right? Some people are cool with that. And some people are cool just being who. Right? It's like, this is who I am. I'm just going to stay right here. And I don't want to be super, super famous. I just want to be able to communicate my creative expression. And for some people, whether it's 2 or 5 people, for them to agree with what I'm saying, to resonate with it, you have to ask yourself and it's important to ask yourself these things at the beginning. Because the longer you get to figure it out, the more the riskier it gets. The probability starts being very slim in terms of what you will lose and what you will gain. And then you asked another question. I think the both were handled. Yeah. So that's the key. Yeah, just hold that thought. Don't forget it.
So this topic is very personal to me.
No. Let her finish her point first. Let her finish her point.
So it's very personal to me because there was a point where I thought about who versus what. I'm someone who thinks I'm a scholar in a sense, in my own way, especially if I'm within a certain industry. This might be a bit lengthy, but bear with me. So initially I started off as a creative, wanting to be a vocalist and this and that and what. And then the who came in about what that means projection-wise. If you make it and you cover a name for yourself and you are at the center of the spotlight, that was an uncomfortable truth for me. The life, the projection of it, the outlook of it, how it looked. I don't think I feel comfortable being hyper-recognized in public. I don't think I would be happy with that, with people having that level of dictatorship towards your life, your thoughts, and how you navigate. And then I had to ask myself, how do I switch then, but still staying a creative? And I was like, I want to build the creative economy. That's how I got into events management. And I said, my creativity would never die. And even though I started off, I still write, I'm still a creative at home. I still sing, I still do poetry, I still do all of those things. But it's reserved for my who. It's reserved for my who. So that's why I can go to a show and perform. Petrol on me, food on me, what, all of that, because that's for me. And in a way, when I decided to do that, it lifted the pressure off me. So now I can completely go on stage and just interpret my creativity my own way. Because initially I used to think, would people get this? Would people understand? Would people gravitate towards
but now it's not. It doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter now. So it's where I'm like, is it possible that the who versus what, it's situational? Because sometimes when you're dealing with corporates, when you're doing endorsements, that's where the dictatorship comes in, because you have to be in alignment.
Selling versus selling out, right?
Yeah, you have to be in alignment with what the brand you're working with requires of you.
No, you've made some very good points.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. If you just study certain people who really reached the peak, and then either just fell off the planet and just disappeared, or went crazy, or passed on in very unfortunate circumstances. Usually it's because of that. It's because they couldn't figure out what you figured out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've got a contract, 6 figures, and the penalty for canceling that contract is 8 figures. So you're like, I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
Right? And or you've got someone who believes that the only way for them to make it is to get that contract. And they slave, but they just seem to never get it.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is people gravitate to who you are, regardless of where you are, right? So it's always those, it's definitely situational, but it's as we say, the margins are very small. And if you manage to find yourself in that crack where you figure it out and you're like, I'm willing to make that shift early enough or at the right time, you got it. Another good example is the group Outkast, where it's Big Boy and Andre 3000. Andre 3000 made a conscious decision to kind of step away from music, and like you said, he's a lot like what you just described about yourself, where he still writes. Once in a blue mood, he'll still drop a Hot 16 and the world will stop, right? But you're not going to see him in the limelight. He's not going to cut his hair a certain way or worse. He's always just out there in the middle of nowhere with his flute, with his weird flute just playing. But he's still going to take pictures, still going to answer questions, once in a while give an interview. And then you have Big Boy, who is, he's straight up. He's like, hey, man, I'm about this money. I'm about this rap money. So, and there's nothing wrong. And they coexist like that, and they're still the best of friends. All right, ma'am, you had a question at the back.
Oh, I wanted to say, I don't know if it's a question or I'm wondering if there is a point where when you reach a certain caliber or level, the what doesn't matter anymore because your personal brand is that solidified.
The what always matters.
Oh.
If you choose that path, it always matters. We're going to skip the second part. We're going to leave it for another.
That was stemmed from the Kanye West example.
Yeah. The second part would have handled that, to say, okay, how do you navigate the what and the who in relation to the what? But that one is for another day. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Hello again, it's me. So, more the video, right?
Yeah.
There was the part where the guy was talking, when he was talking about building your personal brand, and there's a part where he was talking about, okay, I don't know if it's how I got it, but there was a part he was talking about knowing your target, who it is, what, right? And there was also another part where Anabuaka building a personal brand, he was like, you have the option of building a certain persona for the people, right? Okay. So, yeah, no, Naputo, my question is, when you see your target and you know it, but the target will not like the who, but the who is what you would really like to offer, what do you do?
Okay. So, you keep on.
With the who?
Yes.
With the who?
If the who is what you want. Because remember, and it's it can be very self-defeating, unfortunately, that decision. Because you're sacrificing something. And you have to make it, you honestly cannot have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways.
No.
And by that, and here's what I mean by that, right? If you communicate yourself, and Madam said it correctly, if it's for you, you're giving up a demographic. If it's for you, and if it's the who, you're giving up a demographic. The good thing with her is she found a way to still add value despite that. She said, you know what? I'm going to work behind the scenes, right? And that's the value I'm adding. But this part, I'm going to keep for myself. Because I don't want to be famous. And I feel like everybody knowing who I am makes me uncomfortable. I'm willing to give up that. Add value on the back end and use this expression for myself. Okay? And then you have people who are like, hey, nah, I'm about that target audience. I want as many people as possible. So when I step out of the house, I need to look a certain way. Don't talk to me, talk to my lawyer. The whole nine. I don't give you my personal number. You know, I'm not, if you're not talking money, don't call me. You see, so that person, unfortunately, gives up a part of themselves. You give up a part of yourself because what happens is every call you're going to get is a business-related call. Nobody wants to know how you're doing. There's no how are you. There's, oh, you got a booking this Friday. What are you doing on Wednesday? Business meeting on Tuesday. Interview on Monday. 24/7, 365. All you're doing is just building that rapport. Because it's not a relationship, it's a rapport. You're building that rapport with your target audience. And it's a very transactional relationship because they have to buy your product. You have to know what they want. You have to give it to them over and over again. Remember consistency, right? And that hurts you as a person because what about you? Who's going to give you? You know, go ahead.
As we wrap this part of the session up, you're wrapping it up. Okay, all right. One, Eddie, let me just say thank you for having this because it's very dope. I see what it's doing for us, just the three of us here, but it's doing a lot.
As the 30 of you here, thank you very much.
But what I'm getting at, and what we've had this conversation before, the philosophy of being a creative, like there's a philosophy, right? But what I struggle with is because in my mind, I have a business mind, but I also have a creative mind where I know sometimes creativity is for the creator and it's for the creator, like the grand creator, and it's not about the money. But with my business mind, I'm like, no, there's no way you're going to produce something and not get anything in return. It's just business.
Hold that thought. We're going to come to that. We're going to come to that.
I wanted to say the who versus what. I'm thinking as we are having this conversation, like, wait, if you choose the who, there is a demographic that will gravitate towards that.
Yes.
And if you choose the what, there is a demographic that will gravitate towards that. The difference now comes the statistics, the numbers.
And don't forget the contentment in terms of you.
Yes. Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
If you choose the what, which in my understanding, it's more business oriented.
That's right. Yes. Very, very formal.
Yeah, it's very formal. And this one has rules. It has structures.
That's
it
right.
has
Yes.
a pathway. It
Yes.
has, it's black or white.
Yeah.
And then the who is where your free thinking comes in, where you can, your creative spirit
Chaos.
comes out more and
Yeah.
everything. So I think it's up to the individual to sit and go, like you're saying, what they're content with giving up and what they're content with having.
Yeah.
And keeping within that camp.
As I close, I just want to tell you, there's few people who have a guardian angel that understands who they are, and these people are willing to then translate that who into a product that people can buy, right? And if that person comes into your life, just hold on to them, because that person will say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be your translator. When I just do who, and I'll turn that who into a what. An example is Lil Wayne. There's a young man called Cortez. Well, he's not a young man. Cortez is Wayne's manager. I don't know if they're still together, but Cortez understood how to turn the craziness that Lil Wayne was into a product that gave us the Carter 3, for example, and it worked, okay? So that's the last thing I want to say. To say there's always going to be someone who comes in and proposes to say, okay, I understand you. Another example, of course, I know I'm rambling, is Tech9. Tech9 had someone who literally understood him and built an entire company around him, but allowed him to be himself. So, you can be yourself, be crazy. I'm going to turn that craziness into a product that people can buy. And today, Tech9 is the biggest independent artist probably on the planet. Purely independent. Like he's not signed to any major label. You don't need a person you don't need it. Remember this, you don't need anything. You just, if you choose the path of you being you, you need to be you authentically. All right? If you choose the path of the what, right? That's when you now need a team around you. Okay? That's when you follow the branding principles to the letter. All right. All right, we're gonna all right, guys, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna take like a 10-minute break. And when we come back, we're gonna jump into the next part of our program. We don't have a lot of time left, so we'll just zoom through it. And then when we finish, we shall have the Q&A and proceed. Guys at home, please stick around. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. So that you guys at home can at least watch, because I hope you went to grab yourself like a bottle of water or something. We're gonna browse, really run through the next sessions. We're here, I think, for another 50 minutes or so. We still have financial planning to go through. We still have marketing and promotion to go through, and then we can have the goal setting and action taking, and then the community building. Although the community building, you guys at home, if you want to hear on that one, you have to reach out to me personally, because that one is a very personal thing where I will sit down outside of this presentation and talk to the people who are here right now. So I'm just gonna set up the next video so that we can all watch it.
Managing your money using the 50-30-20 rule. Are you ready to watch your money grow this year? What if I told you there's a way you can exponentially grow your money this year? Would you be interested? Well, if you are, make sure you watch this entire video, because we will be talking about an amazing rule that will help you achieve your financial goals this year. Today, we're talking about the 50-30-20 budget rule. I know you've probably heard or maybe come across this rule before, and you might even know a thing or two about this rule. But in today's video, we will explain exactly what this budget rule means, how to use the rule, and what not to do so that you can meet your financial goals. 50-30-20 rule happens to be one of the best and most popular tools for people who don't have time to track all their spending. But what an easy way to manage their expenditure, save money, and control their money. The rule works like this. It requires you to divide your expenditures into 3 categories: your needs, your wants, and savings or debt. But before we continue with the video, are you a subscriber? If not, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified whenever we post. Now let's dive into the video. To help us illustrate this rule, I'd like you to say hello to John. John's an average guy who makes $4,500 a month after tax. Using the 50-30-20 rule, John will need to divide his money like this. 50% of his money, which is $2,250, will go into his needs. 30%, which is $1,350, will go into his wants, and 20%, which is $900, will go into his savings, or paying off debt. Just like John, you too will need to divide your income into those categories. Simple, right? But let's look at it a little closer. Step 1. Limit your needs. Needs are things you can't live without. These include things such as housing, health, transportation, utilities, food, paying off debt, and the bare minimum for clothing, shoes, and other living supplies. Only include items you can't survive without in this category. If you don't have a budget, this would be the ideal time to create one. Carefully analyze what you spend your salary on each month within this category. Warren and Tiagi, who are financial experts, say this category should not exceed 50% of your monthly income. If it does, then something is wrong. If you do, however, spend more than 50% of your paycheck on your needs, don't panic. All you need to do is carefully evaluate what you spend your money on each month. A good rule of thumb is to track your expenditure so you can have a good picture of where your money goes. Once you know where your money is going, adjust your needs by reducing unnecessary expenditures or find cheaper alternatives. Once your budget matches the 50% limit, you can now proceed to the next step. Step 2. Define wants. Now a whole 30% of your paycheck going towards your wants may sound like a whole lot of money, right? You may be picturing a nice pair of shoes, or that new iPhone that got released the other day. As nice as all those things are, we're not talking about buying your deepest desires. By wants, we mean expenses you can opt out of spending on, but your life would be harder without them. I'm not sure your life will be any harder without that new phone, but you might find it hard to communicate without a mobile data plan. This category should include things like your internet plan, data plans, home cable bills, mechanical, not cosmetic repairs to your car, and so on. I bet you now get it. Sometimes it may be hard to distinguish between needs and wants, but the rule of thumb when it comes to defining a want is by asking yourself if you can live without it. And if you can, then it's most likely a want. Now the final step. Step 3. Save up. The final 20% of your paycheck should go towards your savings and paying off debt if you have any. This money can be used as an emergency fund, a deposit for a home, for investing, or savings for retirement. If you feel as though that 20% isn't enough, you can transfer more money from your wants list into this account. Now let's talk about the types of debt that should be included in the 20% category. The only debt that should go into this category is that which is above the minimum required payment. For example, additional credit card payments or extra payments on mortgage to clear your debts faster should go into this category. The minimum payments on debt should definitely go towards the needs category. The reasoning behind this is that the minimum required payments are compulsory, and failure to pay them would cause adverse effects on your credit status, something you just can't live with. The 50-30-20 rule is great because it helps you track your expenditure easily. Having just 3 categories creates a structure that is easy to follow and helps one to focus and manage money better. It's less detailed, making it ideal for individuals who have busy lifestyles and minimal time available in a day. The rule works really well for people within the lower income brackets, between $100 and $6,000. It's however not ideal for high income earners because they would be forced to spend unnecessary money on needs. The 50-30-20 rule has helped many people get their finances on track. So many financial experts swear by this rule. Many people who have been in horrible financial ruts have made it through by following this.
Okay, so I think rather than watch another video, we can talk about this one as well. Hey, the internet is bugging out, but you know, we're gonna be all right. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to do this. Okay, that's cool. All right, now here's before you comment, because the video is about general planning, general financial planning. But if you actually think about it, you can apply this. If you consider your creations as projects, for example, every project needs a budget. All right? For every project, you have to ask yourself, what do I need for this project to come to fruition? All right? What are some of the enhancements that you can pepper on top to give it that extra feel? Okay? Or to give it that extra reach, if you talk about promotion, for example. And then lastly, how do you put money aside for one, in eventualities or even things you can't control? That's one. And two, how do you invest in the project itself at a higher level? All right. So say you want to put together a song, right? A single. Or actually no, let's talk about events because you guys are in events, right? Let's talk events. Let's stay away because I feel like Goth Rose is getting anxious right now. It's like, oh my God, but I told you I don't want to do music. Let's do events, right? Or let's do a trip, okay? Because right now everybody wants to go to conferences. All right, you want to go to a a creative conference, right? When you're planning for that trip, you have to figure out, all right, cool. What do I need to attend the conference? I gotta need a ticket. One, you need a ticket. Two, you need transport. Three, you need accommodation. What's the fourth one? You need food. Okay? Those are the 4 needs. Because without one of those, you're not attending the conference. Okay? Those are the 4 needs. Now, you have no money. And because remember, I always say, my mom used to tell me, or she still tells me this, don't plan with money you don't have. Okay? Don't plan with money you do not have. And I always have to plan with money I don't have, and I'm like, man. You know? So how do you then plan for this trip on a 0 budget? Okay? I get we're dealing with needs, the necessities. Let's talk the ticket. There's one of many things you can do. You can remember our previous conversation, who and what. Okay? Everything is linked. Remember who and what. Who is who you real, you're authentic, okay? And the angel will resonate with that, because remember that angel, most times that angel got stuck in a what, okay? And he sees the who, they could have been in you, so they're like, you know what? Let me just let him stay where he is, so that he gets where he needs to be. So on the who side, this guy can come in and say, what do you need? Oh, I need 5,000 pull-up for this thing, but I don't have money. You cry, you shed tears, you're being yourself, you're being emotional, vulnerable. Being vulnerable, they're like, you know what, I got you. Here's the money. That's one way. If you're the what, you've got an entire demographic who resonate with with what you are, with what you stand for. And these people want what's best for you. You can crowdfund. Hey, guys, I'm doing 10 shows. I'm doing it, and I said 10 on purpose, because most times people say I'm doing one show to raise 5,000 pull-up for this ticket. Most people will be like, hey, that means, hey, it's a lot of money. But if you plan early enough, you can do 10 shows. Say, I'm doing 10 shows. I'm gonna be in 10 different establishments, and yeah, this is what I'm doing. Okay, so that's another way to raise those funds on a 0 budget. You can come to Temple Lounge where we are right now. You can speak to the managers. You say, okay guys, I'm doing this thing. Can I come and sing? And I'll bring some people to come and buy drinks. And then you tell those people to say, okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Please, it's a show to raise funds. Next week, you do it elsewhere. Next 10 times. Okay? People will appreciate, even those people who come initially and don't give on the first night. By the 7th night, they're like, hey, this person is pushing. They're pushing. You know what? Here's a little something. Okay? So that's just the ticket. Accommodation, guys, we have to be real. You gotta be honest. You gotta be real. And we saw how sometimes we confuse our needs and our wants. You can't afford a penthouse, but you want a penthouse. Like, you want your own private bathroom over there. Hey, guys, what is the key? You want to attend the conference, okay? Of course, there's a certain level of comfort that we're all willing to accept, or there's some discomfort that we're not willing to accept. But think realistically about what will get you where you need to be. What's your budget? You have 0 budget. Okay, cool. Dude, are you attending the conference? Yes. Hey man, listen. Can we put some cash together and share a room? It's got a private bathroom, but We can share the space. I'll take the couch, you take the bed. I'll bring my inflatable mattress. I'll take the floor, you take the bed. All right? Nobody's asking you to shower at the same time. You know? So there's that. Oh, I have an uncle who stays close by. Cool. Can I just, I'm here for this conference. I'm going to this conference. Can I just crash just for one night, just so I can attend the conference, and then I'll be out of your hair. Okay? That's the accommodation. Do not be shy. That is if you are who. If you are what, you can, there's ways. You can ask, remember, you have a demographic. You have to use that to your advantage. Okay? My name is X. I have an Instagram account. I have 25,000 followers. I'm willing to do a show at your restaurant the night of the conference. And I'm gonna have my cameraman come. We're gonna stream it live. You don't have to pay, but please, if I can just have a room for the night, just a room. I don't. Again, you are a brand. You know, you've got your following. Use that to your advantage. So that's that's your accommodation, right? Transport. Hey, take the bus. It's okay. First time I went to Durban with a conference, I drove to Joburg and took the overnight bus. Okay. Oh no, I'm gonna fly. With what? Money you don't have? So you fly and then now you don't eat. You know? Or you fly and now you have to walk 10 kilometers from your room to where the conference is at. You feel me? So be realistic. Of course, again, there's a level of discomfort that we have to reject, but let's be realistic about things. Take the bus, carpool. There's 4 of you. Someone is driving. All right, cool. Each one of you guys puts $100 towards fuel instead of one person putting 400, or you spending $400 on the bus ticket. So all those options are there. Okay, it's just about being real about it. Okay, so that's your transport. That's your accommodation. Your food. Pack food, guys. Nothing wrong with that. Pack food. Pack food for, especially if you say the conference is in Joburg, right? Pack your food for the trip. Okay? When you get there, you have, at least for that day when you are there, you've got enough. Okay? The next day, there will be food at the conference. Get to the conference nice and early. Have the coffee and the free coffee and scones, right? And then lunch will be served. And then hang around, network. Dinner will be taken care of. And most times you'll find that they'll say, oh, by the way, there's a cocktail party at. Go over there. Get your stuff. Have your, nothing wrong with asking for foil by the end of the night. Be like, can I have some foil, please? Pack your food for the next day. Hey, why are you there? That's right. Why you are there for the conference, guys? That is if you're who. If you're what, there's other ways as well. You can market a certain restaurant and they serve you food. They pack it nicely for you. Put it in a nice warmer. They put it in a nice cooler box, and you apply the same principle. All right, guys. Yes.
Let me ask you a question, because from what you've been saying with these, if you're a who or if you're a what, if you're a who, you can do this. If you're a what, you can do this, right?
Yeah.
It's making me discover a lot about myself and the way I stand. I know for sure I create as a who, but I've gotten to notice that there's a what that I can sometimes use. And are we then saying, my question is it possible to be a who and a what at the same time?
Remember what I said? They move like this, depending on the choice you make. But they also move like this, depending on the choice you make.
Okay.
All right?
Answered.
You don't want to tell people what to choose. All right? Because they have their own goals, they have their own visions, right? You have your own goals and visions. So I can't tell you what to choose. All I can say is whatever you're choosing, stick to it. But look out for those signs, like Guthrie said. She had a sign. She was like, you know what? I can do this. I gotta make a switch. And she did it early enough to where she found a niche. She found what she wanted to do, and she found how to formally add value. Right? Authenticity. I always believe authenticity works. Right? And if you're authentic from the beginning, either you'll find a way to gain some mileage out of it, professionally or revenue-wise, right? Or someone will find you and figure out how to gain mileage out of it on your behalf, right? But I always feel, personally, I feel like authenticity always wins. Not that the other way doesn't, right? But with the other way, I always feel like it's such a harder road. There's a lot of sacrifice to make, and there's a lot of people to involve.
I wish we had more time. I like this, the part where we are right now, because that's where I am.
Yeah.
Particularly, specifically. So when I made the switch, I came with that creative, chaotic mindset. Then into events management, I went in, I did my thing and all of that. And there was a point I had to pause and go, whoa, there is so much that goes into this. And I had to learn negotiation skills. I had to learn how to package a vision in a way that people can buy into it, especially when you're asking revenue input. Money is a lot to stand before people and say, hey, and actually sell them the vision. I had to learn, like you're saying, I'm going back to the packaging thing, that people don't owe it to you to see your potential like you do. You can't sell people potential. You can't say, I am this, I'm very ferocious, and I'm a go-getter, and it doesn't work in business. They want you to tell that this needs to be reciprocated. What am I standing to gain from collaborating with you? And then packaging came in when I realized, oh my God, it's either I'm not making money or I'm breaking even, right? And it's taken from my pocket. And I'm like, ooh, I haven't been moving smart about this. So I had to step back and learn the power of collaboration. But collaboration takes a certain type of language that is not really creative based, especially if you are negotiating with venues, with restaurants.
Because remember, you're selling.
Yeah, I had to learn
so
how to
sell. Yeah.
Yes, I had to learn how to sell. And not only in my mind, but sell in a way that the person outside gets it. I had to realize that, ooh, it's not about me. In as much as it is about me, but if I'm selling, if I'm reaching, and
you got to use that demographic
and
as
I
well.
have to use that demographic. So, and then the other thing about financial planning for creatives is inconsistent income. How do we then?
Yeah, that's it. Remember, guys, if you have no income, you're not worried.
Yeah. Wait.
If you have no, remember what I've said. If you have no income, yes. Here's the thing. Most of us think, if I make $10 today, I expect that every other today that comes, I'm gonna make $10. That's usually the expectation that we have. That, okay, I've made 10 puller. That means this is now my low point. My low point is no longer 0. Now it's $10. If I make $100, that's my low point. My low point is no longer 0, it's $100. I have to move, which is not the case. The reality is, you're gonna make that $100, you're gonna spend that $100, and you're gonna be back where? You're gonna be back to 0. what happens then between the zero and the next $100? So if you're comfortable being at zero, if you're comfortable always going back to zero, if you're comfortable planning for when you're going back to zero, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, if you got no income, you got nothing to worry about. You just have to be comfortable with being in that position.
That shows where I'm running very low and I haven't made any returns, that I even have to go to the extent, like I said, of taking out of my pocket. But my vision, or the things I'm looking at, it's not only the money or the revenue, it's what the lessons, because as I move along, I refine myself. There's a lot of introspection and self-reflection that happens along. And like you're saying, if your motivation is monetary, it is important, but there's so much more also to gain. If I didn't take risks and lost, I wouldn't have gained the lessons of understanding what collaborations is, and also understanding the power in marketing. And
the power in guerrilla marketing,
yes,
when you have nothing, when you don't have a
you
budget.
just aggressively shove everything down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
It's like
So-
every single day to constantly put your brand right here in the tip of the tongue, where people are like, oh. So nowadays I have my business cards in here. When I was like, oh, networking, I was like, oh, I'm gonna bring my business cards. You know, I go to shows now. I show up. I see acts. I see artists. I pass out my cards. I pass out this. So this one for creatives, it's very real. Especially now, it's like, how do we do financial management with inconsistent income? That depends on bookings. That depends on how frequently you get booked. Hey, and like you're saying, when there are no bookings,
What happens then?
how you floating? You
That's
know, how you
right.
surviving?
So, while we're discussing now, how do you deal with inconsistent income? I need the answer, and this is why I need the answer. September this year will be the first month in a while where I don't have a gig at all. Like at all. And usually these gigs help me with living my life. Now, how do I plan for I don't have a gig at all?
So, as a creative, you're a multifaceted individual, right? Because you market yourself. Most of the time, you set up equipment for yourself, right? You do playlists for yourself. You do your own designs, and like Gotha said, right? With that comes a need to communicate that in a certain way, right? With collaborations, you learn the skill of negotiation. You learn the art of selling, right? And selling is not just what you consider the core business of who you are creatively. All right? It's also all the other skills you pick up along the way. And once you learn, usually I charge for this. This part is the part I usually charge for. When you learn that negotiating skill that she spoke, earned to apply to the T, right? That's when you're able to approach companies and say, these are my skills, this is my reference material, this is what I've done, this is what I can do, and we can work something out. But remember, you have to be comfortable being at zero. True. I'll tell you a little story. Usually I do a lot of things, right? I do from streaming to changing hard drives and laptops, right? I do all of that. And I think I've been fortunate enough to have figured out how to communicate what I do in a way that people will find it okay to remunerate me for it, right? Because it takes a level of trust to say, okay, here's my laptop, take it home. I need this piece of RAM updated, and you know how to do it, or upgraded, and you know how to do it. And I'm willing to pay you $200 in advance. Not after the job is done, in advance to get that done. Okay? So it takes time, and it takes a whole lot of failure. It takes getting your hands burnt to then get the confidence to say, I need this paid up front, right? And because you're comfortable being at zero, because you know at any point you could be at zero, what you do with that remuneration is you apply that rule that you were given. Remember that 20% is for a rainy day. That 20% is for a rainy day. And now you're like, okay, I got this $200. Let me take $50, for example, and put it to the side and use this 150 to divide myself accordingly. But while don't act like I've got $20 on the side. Remember, you're comfortable being at zero.
Okay.
So you're working with what you have in your needs and wants area. Okay? So as if it doesn't exist, that's right. And then you do your thing with the 150, you get another gig, and then again you're like, okay, you know what? And then what happens, and that is when saving stops being saving but becomes saving. Because in your mind, you're not saving money per se. You're just like, okay, just put that to the side. You know, or you're like, or investing, or in buying. Again, I charge for this usually. In buying assets, right? Assets are not necessarily stuff you use for your creativity. Assets can be, I have a camera at home. That camera is worth $3,000. I don't use that camera.
You rent it out?
I don't rent it out. One day I'm gonna be so broke.
You're gonna need to sell it?
I'm gonna sell it.
Oh wow, I do this. But wait,
one day. I don't act like that day will come. I don't save that camera because I know I'm gonna do that. Right? I continue to grind. Right? I continue to work like, hey man, every day is go day, right? But I've got these little things, and every time I make a certain amount of money, put some aside and say, oh, this one, let me see what deals can I get on certain things. I grab, I put it to the side.
Okay, now, with what you just said now, and this is purely from a financial perspective. If you are investing $3,000 in a camera now, the resale value is definitely lower than this price that you bought it for. Where is the return on investment, or is it rainy days savings?
What? Remember, there's something. The ROI is not from the selling.
Okay.
The ROI is from the using.
But you just said you don't use it.
You see, I used it.
You used it.
I don't use it now.
Okay, no,
right?
that's fine. Okay.
So the ROI is like, you see this camera here, right? It's adding value to me right now. Right now, it's actually made up the price it was bought for.
I get you.
Right?
I get
added
you.
the value it was supposed to add already. Right? If I've got another camera that I can put there, a better one, right? And if I get rid of this one, that other one
comes on.
I'm there. Okay. I have two of these identical ones. And I have that one. And then the other, each of them scrolling through. Oh, I found something. Oh, I'll be right back. Computer room. Go pick up the laptop, get back, fix it, put it away. Put it away in storage.
Investment is how do you keep that urge, that instinct to not want to sell? Because most of us, when we attain product, it's like, I need to sell now, I need to market this, and I mean, how to put it in the future and say, okay, for now I don't necessarily have to be aggressive about trying to sell this laptop.
Yeah.
How do you control that? Because if I know this is gonna make me money, I don't know how I'm gonna control putting it. Yeah, selling. You get where I'm coming from.
Remember, guys.
Yeah.
You have. It's the 50, 30, 20 rule. You're compartmentalizing. You see, and it's very important that these compartments. Yeah. You have to. These compartments are very separate. There's serious demarcations between the two, because if you don't do that, that's when you end up dipping. And I do that as well. Like, I'll just, and because it's because you can, right? Like, I can do it. It's mine anyway. So, So, if you're like that, and for me, I'm like that with actual money, right? So you have to know you also have to know your strengths and weaknesses, right? I know money to me is like easy come, easy go. It's not a problem. And my wife hates that. She's like, you are insane, boy. But that's me. So what I have to do is I have to lock it somewhere, right? Wherever it's locked, it has to be reconverted into money to come back to you. And that process is not easy, because remember, my idea of returns is not financial. It's what I learned from it. So if I have a piece of equipment, I'm still looking at it like I can still learn from you. So for as long as I can learn from you, you're going to stay there. Right? Yeah, you're going to stay there. And if ever I get to a point where, like, I know here, there's no way out here. There's nothing I can do. Then, and the thing is, when you then offload that asset, you're not offloading that asset to make money. You're offloading that asset to solve a problem. Okay? Yeah. That's the key. All right? You're offloading that thing to solve a problem. a financial problem. You're not, yeah. And it's so easy because this is what I need to solve this problem. Problem solved, let's move on. Yeah. Okay? That's right. Yes. Yeah. But you know why you're doing it. You know the why. All right. All right, so let's move on to welcome back. If you are home, we are back. I think we just finished the data of the place. I think that's what happened. So we're gonna be in trouble. Anyway, we've done this. So yeah, let's move on to marketing and promotion. So here, I just want you guys to appreciate some very bold marketing ideas, right? And then again, we can see how we can talk about it as we start wrapping up. Share screen. Now, I'm really thinking we should just go into what marketing is. Oh, whoa. Okay. Let's just go into this quickly. We're almost done.
We hear about it a lot on social media, podcasts, YouTube, and blogs. Words like digital marketing, e-com, direct marketing, email marketing, social media marketing. So what exactly is it? Well, if you look it up on Google, the definition is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. According to the American Marketing Association, marketing is the act, set of institutions, and process of creating, communicating, delivering, and presenting an exchange of offers that have value for clients, co-partners, and the society itself. So, in layman's terms, marketing is the process of communicating to clients and customers a solution to their problem. Basically, marketing is a way for you to show the value of your product or services to the right clients that could use them. Now, there are two major types of marketing, traditional and modern. Now, traditional marketing is probably what you'd think of when you look at a billboard on a highway, or you see an ad on TV, or you hear an advertisement on the radio. Traditional marketing is typically a spray and pray type of marketing where you basically send out a message to millions of people knowing full well that only maybe a few thousand or even less might be interested in your product. Oftentimes, the focus of traditional marketing is not so much getting sales, but building brand awareness. Now, traditional marketing is still incredibly important, but there's two major problems with it. One, it's almost impossible for you to track your ROI or return on investment. And two, you're typically paying to show your marketing to a bunch of people who absolutely don't need to see it at all. And this is why over the last 20 years, with the rise of the internet and social media, you've seen a steady decline in traditional marketing and the rise of the second one we're going to talk about, which is modern marketing. Modern marketing focuses more on knowing what customers want and need and then delivering that exact product to them. The most common form of modern marketing is known as digital marketing. And with digital marketing, you're able to identify the exact customers that need your product and show your ads only to them. And then you're able to track your return on investment down to the dollar. Some common types of digital marketing are going to be SEO or search engine optimization, SEM or search engine marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, and affiliate marketing. As you can imagine, digital marketing is one of the most valuable skills that you can learn, whether you're trying to be an employee, a freelancer, or own your own business. And if you're interested in learning more about digital marketing, my friend Seth, who's taught thousands of people how to get jobs in digital marketing as well as become freelancers, did put together a free masterclass, which I'll put down in the description as well as the pinned comment below. You can also check out interviews I've done with people who have landed careers in digital marketing. I'll put that.
All right, so you get the gist of it. Now, let me ask you guys a question very quickly. When it comes to marketing, what are you marketing as a creative? What are you, as a creative, what are you marketing?
What am I marketing
Yes.
as a creative?
Yes.
Speaking personally for myself, because outside my being an entertainer, I use my creative abilities to help other creatives and businesses. This is with regards to marketing itself. This is with regards to consultancy, business consultancy. So what am I marketing? For the most part, I market these services.
Okay.
Yeah.
On to the next one. What are you marketing?
Myself.
On to the next one. God, what are you marketing?
Okay, it's a bit hard for me because I think I'm a bit multifaceted.
Okay, stop there.
Yeah.
Stop. No, stop there. Stop right
So
there.
that means I'm
Stop.
failing.
Yeah. Stop there. Stop there. Stop there.
I
You've
haven't
answered
figured
the.
out what
You've
I'm
answered the question. You are marketing yourself. You are marketing yourself at the end. That is, the services is you. As a creative, you are those services. Yeah, no. You are still marketing you. If who's the business? Yeah, you're the creative. Who? Exactly. What's legacy? You get me? Yeah. So at the end of the day, you are marketing. It's really that simple. He lives. It lives. Now, Colonel Sanders. Yeah, Steve Jobs. You know. So you are the business. You are the service. Right? You are the service. Everything that I do, right? Those are who I am. Right? If I tell you when I step up to you, I'm already marketing to you. All right? When I step up to you to talk to you, I'm already marketing to you. Okay? And at the end of our conversation, the question becomes, oh, how can I learn more from you? And once you ask me that question, it's done. I don't have to convince. You're already convinced.
True. I know that, and I understand
Right?
that.
And that's where that's the thin line between someone buying into what you're selling and someone running away because they feel like you're shoving things down their throats.
True.
All right?
But Eddie, I do this. No, it was because what are you selling or what are you marketing? That's the question. That's why I started with I. I'm marketing the business. So
remember what she's saying. She's saying that, and that's and this is why I really want you guys to check. I'm gonna send you guys some links and on this issue of marketing. And Chris Doe does a very good job of communicating this as well. To say, don't separate yourself from the business, because once you start doing that, you start talking about what you can do, right? You start talking about what you can do. But when you and the business are one, you're just having a conversation with someone, right? And at the end of that conversation, they ask you what you could possibly do for them. How can you solve their problem?
Okay, Eddie, let's put it like this. When Apple kicked out Steve Jobs,
yes,
Apple was still there as a business, and it continued to run, and it ran as Apple. Steve Jobs was away.
Did he not come back?
He did. I don't dispute that.
Why did he come back?
Because they were failing.
And here's the biggest question.
He's not there now.
But here's the thing. Remember
dead now.
The difference between when they kicked him out and now is the reason they brought him back was because that personal element
they
was taken out of it.
Yeah, I know that.
And the reason Apple is struggling today is also because the personal element is out.
Is Apple struggling today?
They are struggling. Innovatively, they haven't innovated in three.
No, you can't say innovatively because they're still making the money though.
Remember, guys. Remember. What did we say about the money?
Okay. Which part?
Huh?
Which part? Because we said a lot about the money.
It's not about the money. It's about you.
Which goes back to philosophy then. When you create and when you're a creator. Because now I really have that struggle.
Do you create because you want money?
As a creator, I create for the sole purpose of creating. But because naturally I was born with a business mind, anything that I do, there should be an ROI.
Exactly. Here's the thing. You literally said you create and then you do. The two are very separate.
Okay.
And you didn't even notice yourself saying that.
I'm even trying to figure out if I did say it the way
you create
Uh-huh.
and you create for the sake of it, which is correct. And you do, and what you do gets you paid.
Wow.
You see,
just making my life make
the
sense.
two are very separate. When you create, right? When you create, you are applying something. Talent is not something you learn. Something that is innate. It's inside you, right? And you apply that talent for your own satisfaction, right? When you do, you are applying a skill to solve a problem, and that application gets you rewarded. Now,
because to me, I'm thinking you provide the template, right? Which means the template provides the business model for your company and everything. But understand that the template has like that intimacy and personal connection to you. In as much as you can put it on the table and say, okay, I'm bringing in other people, I'm bringing in a team. But the one person who understands its intricate details, it's
essence.
you.
Yeah.
You get its essence.
Okay, now, here's the thing, and this happens with a lot of Botswana businesses. Immediately when the owner of the business passes, it's
dies.
gone.
Yes.
It's gone.
Yes.
And that's because the owner is the business.
the business.
But in other business markets, when the owner dies,
The business
but the
the
business
business-
continues.
So here's the thing. The key is this. Who are you in, like she asked, who are you in relation to the business? Right? You are the seller of the vision. Right? You're the seller of the vision. And when people buy into that vision, they will make sure that vision lives on beyond you. Okay?
But I actually like what you mentioned about businesses dying here, because now it brings us to the why. Do we share templates with each other? That is the question. And then in sharing those templates, in the model that we have created in our country, have we provided that culture of sharing templates? We haven't. Eddie has, because he's here. You know, he's sharing. This is the starting point. I wanted you to say that. Do we share? Because if we don't share, how is the future of a creative economy looking?
So, we're going to stop there for today. We've gone over a little bit. And when I say we're going to stop there, I mean officially we're going to close. But of course, this conversation will continue offline and we'll continue to talk. And we're going to talk about something very, very interesting in person, so outside of this. We're going to talk about goal setting, and we are also going to talk about, how we can make, it's not on there. Someone is already asking for your name. Yeah? So we're going to talk about goal setting, and we're going to talk about how you can actually use your skill and your innate abilities to add value to the community, and how that can actually get you paid in the long run. All right? So at home, thank you so much. If you're online, thank you so much for joining us for this amazing, amazing workshop. You are much appreciated. If you want more information, you know where to find me. Just go on the website, go to www.musicbusinessnetbw.com, and you'll be able to see me there. I'm just going to put that on here for a little bit.
While Eddie does that, I shall plug myself. The name is Stevie G DJ, aka your friendly neighborhood DJ, aka Outdated Des, aka Mr. Nice Guy. The website is www.steviegdj.com. www.steviegdj.com.
I do charge for people marketing on my platform.
You know, I just wanted to say, you guys make sure that you are here in person the next time. You do not want to miss this, is what I want to say. And Eddie, I don't know if Eddie will kill me for this. If there are any stakeholders, if you run into this video, people who are into government, corporates, whatever, if you know that you can help solidify initiatives like this, we are extending invites to you also. And shout out to Eddie for doing this. Shout out Temple Lounge. The food was great. The drinks were chilled and cool and cold. And it's like, I don't know if they're stopping me from this, because I learned quite a lot. So thank you so much, Eddie. I'm just zoom.
All right, guys, we've been kicked out, so thank you so much. And we'll see you soon.